NBA going to Orlando. How does this work?
It's, safety first. And so the big wigs at the NBA, Adam Silver, the commissioner, are working with all the medical experts, all the scientists, and we're going to create a bubble in Orlando in Walt Disney World. It's going to be like Hotel California. You check in and you can't leave until you're eliminated. And so we're excited to start. We're going to start playing games July 30th if everything keeps on going well. And we need sports. We need something to cheer for. We need something to get excited about. And so I'm so ready to go. Now, as an owner, I'm not going to be able to be down on the court. I'll be like one of 6 people upstairs screaming and yelling. But we're trying to get piped in music and piped in fan sounds. So the Mavs are setting up an app. So you're going to hit this little app, and we're going to pipe it into the arenas to create noise for the players and get them all fired up. So it's going to be really cool. It's something different, but we got to do it.
Now, I remember when the Olympics were in Brazil and it was the Zika virus thing. It affected a lot of the people who were going to be competing. They decided not to compete. Are you seeing any of that kind of behavior for Orlando?
Not yet. Okay, so 2 different things. One are the guys who are just afraid they might get sick. And the reality is, because we're going to have so many protocols to protect them, they're probably safer in Orlando in the bubble than they are at home, where you have to go out and shop and all that kind of stuff. What we've seen is that guys who are having families, like we had a player on our team that I'm so proud of, Willie Cauley-Stein. He's having his first baby in a couple days. And so rather than going down and potentially putting the child at risk and having all that uncertainty, he wanted to be there for the birth of his baby, and you got to respect that. And so you got to like that. So yeah, no one is just saying I'm afraid. More people, some guys who have other reasons.
We were talking, I guess, going forward when we do sort of get back fans in there, no kiss cam. It's going to be the disc cam.
You're right. I never even thought about that. No more kiss cam.
I love the kiss cam.
I love
the disc cam.
Oh my God. You know what we can have now? The mass munch cam, right?
I like that.
That's
mass mooch.
Oh my goodness. You know what? I never even thought about that. Oh.
Don't think about it too hard. Don't think about it too hard. Wait, before we get out of here, Mark, you've been a person who's also been pretty outspoken in the times we find ourselves in, with as far as searching for and reaching for racial equity. You talked about white privilege in particular, but I was watching this conversation with Dwayne Wade, Carmelo Anthony, NBA commissioner, talking about the efforts that the league, that the NBA could be making. And one of the things I never even thought about was that the majority of the people who own the basketball teams are white men.
Yep.
The majority of the people, the vast majority of the people who play on those teams are black men. Yep. And the term owner kind of harkens back to this slave kind of mentality. I never even thought about it. What has been the conversations like for you and the league about little strides forward?
I can tell you my conversation is a great question. From Golden State Warriors, first brought it up. Yeah, Draymond brought it up. Draymond Green, right? First brought it up. And at the time, I was kind of, defensive about it. I'm like, look, we own these teams. We earned them. But then I had a talk with Pharrell Williams at Super Bowl at the same party I saw you at, right? And Pharrell and I had a great talk, and you really got me to really understand the perspective that I hadn't really considered. And so back then in February, if you go to the Mavs website now, I changed it from owner to proprietor. And even though people still refer to me as owner and I don't really fight it or anything, I just wanted to let it be known that I recognize that it can be a sensitive issue to a lot of African Americans, and I respected that and acknowledged it. And it, honestly, what changed into proprietor doesn't change a lot, but at least it sends the message that we're recognizing that it's a discussion we need to have.
And Kit, isn't that like the whole purpose of the conversation, is that once someone makes you aware of something, I love that you said, Mark, that you were at first like kind of defensive, like, well, no, wait, I've earned this.
Yeah.
And then after having some sincere conversations and listening, you were like, wait, this is actually something we can change.
Yeah. Look, that's part of life, right? You know, we're always learning, and sometimes it takes some of us longer, and you have to go through and have people explain it to you, no matter whether you're 20 or 50 or 60, it doesn't matter, right? And so that's just part of life. And, you know, with all the protests now on Black Lives Matter, it's just, you know, we have to open our minds to really understand different perspectives. And, you know, you mentioned white privilege. When white people hear that term, we get very defensive, and we immediately start creating these equivalency messaging, right? We manufacture equivalency. We say, well, we can't be racist, not even a little bit, because we have Black friends, right? Or we grew up in a mixed neighborhood, or I listen to hip hop, which is the craziest excuse I've heard, right? And so we manufacture these equivalencies, but we've got to start recognizing white privilege isn't about any one individual. It's about the world, you know, it's about our country in general. The fact that growing up white, you have certain advantages that, you know, African-American, particularly African-American men, don't have. And so once we start recognizing that, we can start having more difficult conversations and encouraging other white people. When you see subtle racism, you know, the overt racism, the racists are the racists, right? The subtle things like you people, or just little comments, or people saying something to somebody in a store just because they're Black, and just mentioning and saying something to that white person, no, that's not right. That's not the way things should be done. So they can start considering, just like Pharrell had the conversation about the term owner, just like our players, you know, explained to me what it's like to grow up as a Black male, you know, and the issues that they have to face that I don't and my kids won't. You know, those are the issues of white privileges that we need to discuss among white people.
Yeah.
Scott, we've had so many great conversations. And to your point, Mark, it's all about just having the conversation to go forward.
Yeah, it's hard. Like, look, as white people, you know, we don't like to talk about race. You know, when I talk to my Black friends and say, can you sit around the table and talk about, oh yeah, we do it all the time. When it's a bunch of people that, you know, my peers that look like me, that are sitting around a table, and someone says the white race, or, you know, the white people, we immediately get uncomfortable because we associate that with the KKK or white supremacy. Whenever you say white people, or, you know, and group it and talk racism, that's what we think of. But that's got to change, and it's uncomfortable to do that. But progress, big progress, is never pretty. And that's what we're going through right now. It's uncomfortable, but we have a unique chance to make this an inflection point, to really change systemic racism. And just like we were talking about masks, you know, it's just, you know, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you take this step to try to make this country and the world better? And not to talk for days, but I'll leave you with one last thing. All this talk about kneeling and the flag got me thinking of the Pledge of Allegiance. You know how when you were in school, you said it every day, you know, Pledge Allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all, right? And that's what the flag means and should mean to all of us. So when people protest and kneel, they're not turning away from the flag. They're kneeling towards the flag, trying to push for liberty and justice for all. What American wouldn't want to be part of that? Yeah, what American wouldn't want to be part of that, right?
Come on, Mark.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Mark coming in hot, Scott.
Now, kid, the people have been talking about it, but it sounds like Cuban for president. I mean, I don't know. People have been talking about it.
No, not going to happen.
People been saying it, Mark. People been saying it.
I got a few years. I got some time.
Oh, what did you say? You have a few years?
Yeah, I got a couple. You going to be my VP, Scott?
You already know it.
Let's go.
He didn't even consider me. That's why we know he'd be a good president.
Shark Tank.
Yeah.
What is the next season going to look like if we're still all in quarantine?
Well, you know, the LA just kind of changed all the rules for production. And so I think we're going to be able to start shooting in August, beginning of August. And as of now, we're a go for being back on the air the end of September.
So are you guys
I wonder how many
like
quarantine inventions will come up, right? Something to help. There's got to be a whole new wave of inventors out there that want to pitch their products.
Yeah, everybody's coming up with new ideas for people who are working from home, different ways to deal with all the things we have to deal with now. And for if you go back into the office, how do you keep things safe? How do you keep your kids safe? You know, we're all coming up with new ideas to run our lives because there's so much uncertainty. And I know that this next season is going to be incredible with those ideas. And it's going to be fun to help investors too, or help inventors and help all these entrepreneurs.
Cuban, I know you love some tech. Can we
Yeah.
get something that just will auto correct when people sign onto a Zoom like this?
Well, let me just tell you, can I just tell you, if I were getting it going right now, I would be all about Zooming and Skyping and figure that out. Like just being able to do all kinds of avatars and virtual stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because there's no fun to Zoom right now. There's no fun to Skype. Somebody's got to bring the cool to Zoom.
And
what about
it's
you?
got point. It's got to center you. You know, there is a secret button on Zoom. I clicked it that says enhance your appearance.
Trust me, that's the first thing I found. You didn't need it. I needed it desperately.
No, Scott knew about it for a month before he told me, Mark. I was like, I need a month, 2 months maybe, Evans.
They give you the virtual background. I want the virtual foreground.
Right, exactly.
I want to be just blurry. I'll take the whole thing.
Amen to that.
Mark, Scott and I are loving your TikToks. Now, we've been out at the Super Bowl. We've seen you out and about. You got the moves. But Scott and I need you to break down with your daughters. Do they think you're cool? Are you allowed to come up with these? Where do we land on them?
No. Okay, so here's exactly how it goes. One, I'm definitely not cool. I can't even get them to watch Shark Tank. They just, but in terms of the dances, I'm always like, no, Lex. So Lissy, my middle daughter, let's do this, let's do that. And they're like, no, Dad, that's not the way you do it. We got to do it because these are the dances that are cool. This is the music that's cool. And we have to post it at 8 p.m. because at 8 p.m., that's when you're going to get on the For You page. And I'm like, okay, I'm just ready to renegade.
Oh my God, look at him go. Go, Mark. Go, Mark.
They let me know I'm
What happened, Mark? I heard you had a graduation party, and this was early on. I've got a bunch of teenagers in my house. How did that go?
It wasn't too bad for our stuff, right? When our daughter had some friends over to our house because it was small, but in Dallas, things got out of control. And so, she went to some parties and she ran into somebody who ended up testing positive. And that created obviously a lot of stress for us. So I had to take her to go get tested. I got tested, and in Dallas right now, it's scary. And all I can say to everybody out there, wear your mask. Please, please, please wear your mask for your kids, for your parents, for everybody. It's so simple that yet so important.
I appreciate you saying that too, Mark. You know what I mean? As a person who I consider kind of on the forefront of new business ideas, you also consider the reality that we're in, and it's just a simple thing to wear the mask. And especially until we know much, much more about this virus, we know there's a very simple thing we can all do.
Yeah, it's so easy. I mean, look, it's just a new fashion statement, right? We used to wear this, wear that. Just put on a mask, and it just shows everybody you care. And look, for your Instagram and for your TikToks, it's just sending the message that you understand what's going on in the world. Because when I see people without masks, it's just like, do you not care about anybody? I mean, what do you do when you go home, right?
Mark, there was a
not
lady.
For you. Do it for everybody else. Do it for the parent. My friend's daughter's battling cancer. Like, do it for your parents, the grandparents. Think of other people. I get.
Yes. I mean, look, we're seeing cases explode, and how it's like seeing a car wreck every hour in front of your house and not doing anything to change it, right? How could you not want to make things better when you see so many people getting sick? And because you can't see it, and because you don't know when people are asymptomatic, it makes it, we have this, it's just so predatory. You just got to help.
Yeah.
Listen, it's also allergy season, right? And we were in the grocery store the other day, and this lady in the line sneezed. You would have thought, you would have thought that she smacked everybody within a 4-foot radius. I mean, it just is like, it's like a very common sense thing. It's a very simple thing. So we do appreciate you saying.
Help other people. And I ate a double cheeseburger and had my mask on the whole day. I was protecting a lot of people from that batch, Mark. I mean, you got it. It served a lot of purposes. I'm not kidding. I want to get my mammogram.
And part 2 to
2
that,
hours. I was like,
if you are going to go out and eat with your mask, bring a backup, right? Because if you do get nasty, you want to be able to throw it away. Don't be one of those people who just leave a mask. It's like if you're walking, like there's a trail called the Katy Trail in Dallas, and you'll walk and you'll see a mask, and it's like a pothole, right? Everybody goes 5 feet around it.
It's real. It is
bring an
real.
extra mask. Throw away your old one.